The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gam Podcast Network is brought to you by Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN to get a $1,000 bonus credit. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gam Podcast Network. It is currently Thursday afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it, April 10th, roughly 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host for this episode, Scott Reichel, joined again by Dylan Rockford. Together, we're going to break down the Friday MLB card. A lot of games, 15 of them to get into. I know a lot of sports have been, I'd say, put on the back burner by some when it comes to the Masters, people trying to bet on some golf. Dylan, I know you're joining me. I know you're a bit sick, but you enjoying Masters week or you don't really care?
I don't really care.
I like being honest. That's why I asked.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I haven't watched a lick of it. Who's leading the board right now?
Right now, it's Justin Rose.
No clue who that is.
Doesn't matter.
All I know is Scotty Scheffler. Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's towards the top of the leaderboard.
Oh, good. All right, good. That's good. But
he always does well.
Day baseball, though.
Day baseball, not many runs unless you're the Angels. They're the only team that showed up offensively today. You saw the Guardians beat the White Sox 6-1. Angels beat the Rays 11-1. And Kansas City came back and beat Minnesota 3-2. Meanwhile, you have the Rockies bullpen trying to hold on against Milwaukee. Good luck with that. And it's 0-0 in the fourth inning of the Red Sox and Blue Jays game. Do want to ask you, though, just a quick question because I know we're going to talk about them later, but watching this team play today, I have to ask, is this White Sox team worse than last year?
They might be. They might be. Literally stole it out of my mouth. Yeah, they might be. I was going to ask the question to you. When are they going to trade Lewis Roberts? I mean, at a certain point, like, they just have to trade him, right? They're not going to
trade everybody worth a pulse at this point because the whole team's useless. But,
yeah.
I mean, I was looking at the lineup today, and Robert didn't play, and they scored one run. And it felt like he played because they always score one run, so nothing really changed. But they were awful. You might remember Baldwin. Baldwin is that White Sox guy who's not really, in my opinion, that good of a hitter. He's batting seventh.
Wow.
I feel like he wouldn't be on a roster for most of the league, and he's batting seventh. So, yeah, this team is really, really, really bad. And they got swept by the Guardians. They can't score. So just keep that in mind moving forward. They might actually be worse than they were last year. Something to keep in mind. Anyway, before we get into any of the actual games for Friday, quick reminder that you can also find all of our picks and podcasts in one convenient place. Download the SGPN app wherever you do get your podcasts. It is free. So once again, if you want the free access to all of our podcasts in one easy location, don't forget to check out the SGPN app. Moving on, though, to the first game on the actual card for Friday. Speaking of the team that actually beat the White Sox in the sweep this past series, you have the Guardians at home hosting the Royals. Saw the Royals end the Twin Series on a high note, winning 3-2. Cleveland, though, is minus 150 on the money line. The Royals are around plus 125. You have Bybee, who's not been good this year, against Bubic, who's actually been very good so far this season. And the over-under for this game is set at 7 flat. So for this one, I feel like I'm going to be pretty straightforward here, even though Cleveland did get the job done. I see minus 140 in some spots, actually. But I do think this line's too big. Bybee's not been good. Bubic has been very good. And both teams, I think, are pretty similar. I'm not going to overreact to sweeping the White Sox. Congratulations. But I'll go with the Royals plus money. Arguably the better pitcher right now based on form, and I think these teams are pretty similar, at least on paper. Give me Kansas City with a decent amount of plus money. Any thoughts?
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I actually took the over. I got the opening line at 6.5 at minus 122. A little chalky, but even at a 7, I still like the over. My total came out to 7.5. Just like at Tanner Beebe's last start, it was not good. 7 runs given up, 4 innings. He gave up 4 home runs as well. I think that is very concerning. Royals, I feel like they're going to get 4 or 5 runs off of Beebe. A little revenge spot for the Royals as well. Coming off a good victory here, fight back victory as well. And on the other hand, you mentioned Bubic. He has looked great in his first 2 starts. He's yet to give up a run, and I really just don't expect that to last. He should look good, but I think he'll give up a run or 2. I just see the Guardians. They're seeing the ball a little better. They're hitting 234 off of lefties. They scored a few runs today. Maybe get some confidence in the bats a little bit, but 6.5 and 7 is just way too low. So yeah, I'm going to be on the over here.
That's kind of the problem I ran into, though, that you said Cleveland's hitting the ball better. You're not wrong, but that was against the White Sox, so I don't know how I'm supposed to read into it at all. So for the value, I'll go with Bubic. I just feel like it's too big of a number for Bybee, who has not been good so far this season. Moving on to the next game, you have another team that could be as bad as the White Sox, but they are better. You have the Pirates taking on the Reds. For this game, you have Falter taking on Singer. Reds are minus 160 after that brutal series against the Giants, or at least the finale against the Giants, where they blew like a 5-0 lead in that game. You saw Pittsburgh, though, not look that great this season either. They're both 5-8. Falter's been really bad, 8.1 ERA. Reds, though, minus 160. Pirates are plus 135. The over-under is at 8. For this one, I'll go with the Reds' first 5, minus half a run. I think Falter's not any good. I think Singer is pretty good. Pretty simple for me. I'll go with the Reds to get the job done in the first 5.
Yeah, first initial glance, the total seemed low at 8. Another total for me, my total came out to 9.3. In a hitter's ballpark at Great American Ballpark, I think we could see some runs here, especially for the Reds. So against Falter, like you mentioned, he's been bad. He was awful against the Yankees. And yes, obviously the Reds aren't the Yankees, but they are seeing the ball a little better as well. And I think they'll be able to get to Falter. Winds blowing out 9 miles an hour towards right field. Maybe Reds team total over. I do like your play, Reds first 5, because I think they'll get to Falter. But Brady Singer, he's looked fantastic. So I do think he'll be able to limit the bats of the Pirates. So, yeah, I like the Reds here. Think they deserve to be the favorites at home, and I'm going to take the over 8.
Yeah, the Reds have not been hitting the ball well lately either. They were able to win the first 2 games of that Giants series, not allowing a run. Then they woke up a bit offensively. It was really just one bad inning by Verlander. Then they fell apart and blew a massive lead and choked it. So if you want to go for the over, I don't mind. Maybe a live bet because both bullpens aren't worth a damn. But I do think Falter's going to struggle in this ballpark. So I do like the Reds early in this game. Moving on to the next game, you have the Braves, who are 2-9, taking on the Rays. The Rays are 5-7. For this game, though, you have Smith Shawver taking on Taj Bradley. The Rays are minus 115. You have the Braves at minus 105. And the over-under in this game is set at around 8 or 8.5. Now, Bradley's been okay this season. Not amazing, not terrible, but once again, he could be, I should say, pitching better in my opinion, because I think Bradley has great stuff. It just seems like the consistency is not there in his career. And Smith Shawver might not be any good. But I'm going to ask you, though, because the Rays are favored, even though they gave up 11 runs today. Do you want to take Tampa? Because I don't trust either team at all.
No, can't take Tampa here. I know Taj Bradley has looked okay. I like runs here. Another total over 8. I think we see some runs here as well. Rays, you got to imagine they'll be better than scoring 1 run today, right? They scored 1 run against the Angels. They got
Soriano's okay as a pitcher, but yeah, normally you'd assume they're good for 3, which is not a compliment, but that's better than 1.
And I think the Braves have been able to score some runs here as well. They scored 7 the other night against Philly. They scored 10 the other night against Miami. I think they'll be able to score some runs as well. So I'm going to take the over here. I made the Braves an actual favorite here. So getting even money, I agree with it. You just can't take, as bad as the Braves have been. I trust their offense more than I trust the Tampa Bay's Rays offense right now. So as bad as it's been, maybe first 5, since we're going, it seems like that's been a theme here so far. Maybe first 5 over, but I think we'll see some runs here.
Yeah, I see Dave saying that he can't back Tampa because he can't trust them. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
The thing that's wrong with them is they can't hit. They score basically 3 runs most games. Scored 1 today. Soriano, though, has been good for the Angels. Shout out to Soriano, pitched well today. But they gave up home runs to everyone today. Like, Littell got torched. The bullpen got torched. Ward had 2. Adele had 2. Trout had 1.
Yeah.
Like, the whole team kind of went nuts today. But I'll go with the Braves, I guess, if I had to, because I trust their offense. But I don't mind their first 5 under, just not trusting either offense to do anything. But Smith Shawver is really not that good. So that's kind of the trade-off here. I think Bradley is, objectively speaking, the better starter in this matchup. But it feels like Bradley, I don't want to use the term wasted potential, but it feels like he should be so much better than he actually is. And I feel like it's just been an issue for Tampa for years, where you could tell the upside's clearly there. They turned McClanahan, when healthy, into a star. Glass now got turned into a star. Felt like Bradley was going to be the next guy. And it just hasn't really happened for him yet. And I feel like Tampa's kind of waiting for it to click, and it hasn't clicked yet. So I feel like that's kind of my thoughts on Bradley. Am I being harsh, or is that fair?
No, I think that's fair. I think we've been seeing potential from Bradley, but he's kind of been inconsistent these
Yeah.
past few years. So, yeah, I don't think that's harsh at all. I think that's pretty spot on.
Well, hopefully for our sake, I guess, we hope he gets shelled tomorrow so the
Yeah.
Braves can actually win this game. Moving on to one of the better series of the weekend, you have the Giants against the Yankees. The Yankees have not been that great so far this season. They've been fine, but overall, they are above 500, but Devin Williams can't pitch. So we'll see what happens because he can't close right now, and he almost blew the game against Detroit in the series finale. But they were able to hold on as they got the win 4-3. Yankees, though, are 7-5. Giants, though, quietly 9-3. They've been really good so far this season. You have Robbie Ray pitching against Stroman. Yankees are minus 120. Giants are even money for the actual over-under. I see 8 flat in every single book. For this one, I'm going back to the common theme here. Give me the Giants first 5. Stroman's been awful, and we know Stroman doesn't want to be there because he had issues not being used in the postseason roster. He was terrible in the back half of last year. He's been bad so far this season. Ray's been good. He had one bad inning against the Reds in his first start. But besides that, he's been great. So I'll go with Ray to get the job done. I think that he's in a good spot to go at least 5 or 6. I don't trust Stroman at all. Give me Giants first 5.
It's crazy. The non-Yankee fan, as much as I'm not a Marcus Stroman fan, minus 110 with the Yankees is hard to pass on.
Maybe Giants first 5 team total over then as a pivot, but I can't trust Stroman laying.
No, I can't either, which is why I kind of like the total over 8. Seems a little low. Total came out to 9.3. Both of these pitchers, outside of Stroman, I think you might be a little higher on Robbie Ray than me. I think he's average, if I'm being honest. But
so far this season, I think he's been better than Stroman's. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yes. That's not saying much, though. But Yankees, they crush left-handed pitching, and Stroman, 3+ runs given up to start both games this season. And both of those games went over this total as well. 2 good hitting teams against, my opinion, 2 average pitchers, 1 below average, Marcus Stroman. So it's going to be a cold night in the Bronx, but I do think we'll see some runs here. So over 8, I like better, but my numbers did make the Yankees a minus 145 favorite, but I could understand why you wouldn't take the Yankees here.
I agree about the over in general. I just think Stroman, at the end of the day, I'm willing to kind of avoid Ray and just focus solely on Stroman not pitching well. And the Giants offensively have been fine. I think this team is kind of underrated. It's not their fault. They're in such a tough division, but they've been good so far this season. I feel like them getting a decent opportunity as the road team to tee off against Stroman, I think is a good opportunity. So I don't mind the Giants first 5.
Do you think the Yankees deal him eventually if he keeps at this rate?
I mean, Stroman doesn't want to be there, but I'm trying to think of who would even want Stroman. Like,
DFA.
If you're actually thinking about which teams would take a flyer with him, I want to look up his contract situation, but I know it's not good. Like, I'm trying to think of what teams would want to actually acquire him, because Stroman this season is in. I'm charged to looking at this. He's in the middle of a 2-year, $37 million contract with a player option for year 3. Like, I don't know why anyone would want to pay that because he should pick up the option. He's making over $18 million a year. I don't think anybody would want him. Isn't that just the future DFA?
Yeah, I was just gonna say either DFA and Trevor saying Stroman to the Rockies.
I mean, he fit right in because they can't pitch.
Or how about a team like this who kind of struck out on a starting pitcher 5, and we'll talk about them later, but the Orioles who went and got Uncle Charlie, go and get Marcus Stroman. He can't be that much worse.
Coincidentally, a team I actually think that would work with Stroman would actually be the Giants. Just because of how I think he's a ground ball pitcher. It's a very hard ballpark to hit home runs in. And historically speaking, I believe he's been very good in that ballpark. So could be an audition maybe, but I think he's going to get DFA'd.
Do you think he goes to the bullpen eventually or no?
They're going to have to move him somewhere. I mean, the Yankees have injuries, of course, with Cole being out for the year. That's going to cause some problems, and Schmidt's been injured too. So we'll see what happens. But he's either going to be a reliever or a starter on a really bad team once he gets DFA'd.
Yeah, I agree.
That's kind of how I see it. But I think the Giants could be, in theory, a destination because with that ballpark, they can turn anybody into a decent pitcher. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I do think Stroman's in a bad spot. Moving on to the Blue Jays game against the Orioles for this game. You have Francis taking on Sagano. For this one, you have the Orioles minus 115. You have the Blue Jays at minus 105. For the total, I see the over-under being set at 8.5. Francis, we know, has been very good, even dating back to last year. For Sagano, he's been fine so far in his MLB career. 1-1, 2.89 ERA. Toronto, though, offensively has not been that great lately. and Baltimore offensively has been hit or miss so far. I like the under at 8.5. I know it might sound a bit dangerous because both offenses can wake up. The keyword's can there. So far, the season has not been very good. So I like the under. I think both starting pitchers can go some distance. Francis, I like a lot. Sagano's been fine. That's good enough for me. I'll go with the under 8.5 in this game.
Yeah, I don't mind the under. My total came out to 8.2, so right around there. I don't mind the under. I'm going to take the Orioles, though, straight up -112. My numbers made them a -130 favorite. I think the Orioles have been dying to come back home after that long road trip. Pitching has been average, and I like Seguro here. I think he's been okay. I think he's been a tad bit better than Francis, and at home, Orioles are much better hitting team, 281 on the season. Bowden Francis, 2 runs given up in each of his 2 starts, 2+ walks as well. So maybe a walk prop. Look towards that. And once he's out of the game, that's when I really don't really trust the Blue Jays at whole. Their bullpen's not really someone you want to back. And Blue Jays are a team you really want to back at home, in my opinion, not so much on the road. So I do think the Orioles are the right side. I think we're getting a cheap price here with them. So -112.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of which team do you want to trust right now, and right now I don't trust either team. So that's the issue you run into. Gunner's been playing better recently. I mean, he originally came back and he struck out in almost every at bat, but at least he's been looking better recently. I'll tell you what, though, the Orioles, if we're talking about pitchers that have been getting torched lately with Stroman, they got to figure something out with Dean Kramer, because that was not pretty against Arizona.
Terrible.
He was awful. But he's been bad for a while, so I feel like, once again, that could be another guy. Maybe they'll swap Kramer for Stroman. I'm kidding. But I do think that's another pitcher we're talking about, because he's been a mess. And when you throw him with Morton together in that rotation, that is not what you want to see for a team that is trying to compete for a division title. So we'll see what happens, but once again, I do think it's a good spot for the under. Before we get into any of the other games on the Friday card, quick reminder that we are brought to you by our sponsor, Edge Boost, because if you are trying to get a deposit in from your bank, and you've had it denied at around 2 a.m. when you're trying to bet some table games, or you hit your ATM limit, don't worry, because Edge Boost does have your back. First ever bank account built for bettors. They give you fast, reliable access to your funds, make it easier to move money where and when you need it. And reminder, you have no delays when it comes to traditional banks. Plus, you also get a great cashback reward system, because if you do end up using it every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you can earn cashback rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. They also have a lot of great responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Head to EdgeBoost.bet with promo code SGPN, EdgeBoost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag, because MyBookie is the place in every sport, including the Masters. They have props in every game. You can also use it for a ton of locations, and you can also use crypto for letting fast payouts and easy deposits. Use the actual promo code SGPN when you sign up at MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% odds to match up to 1K. It's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Only Gambling Podcast. Went through the first couple games on the Friday card. Time to keep going with a game that actually features a team in good form against a team that has been, well, not playing too well, but what's the surprise there? It's the Nationals against the Marlins. Nationals won a series against the Dodgers. They almost swept. They should hang a banner for that. They almost swept the Dodgers in 2025. But unfortunately, the bullpen fell apart in the final game of that series. Miami was able to avoid the sweep against the Mets because the Mets offense did nothing on Wednesday. Hell of a catch, though, to end the game. I don't know if you saw that. You see that catch to end the game?
Both games, 2 back-to-back games.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the last one where the Marlins center fielder basically decapitated himself to make a diving catch.
That was a shot by Pete. Pete's seen the ball well. But yeah,
he was the only one who saw the ball well the entire game.
All right.
I know, but that was a hell of a grab.
Yeah,
it was like a Jim Edmonds diving backwards catch, but he face planted into the wall.
He went so far to get the ball too. Like he traveled.
Yeah. And it was a 5-0 game. Like it wasn't like that was going to make or break the game. He just decided I'm selling out for this. But it was a hell of a grab. Was it Evans in center field?
I don't know.
Dane Evans, I think.
Yeah.
But either way, a point is that was definitely a pretty fun way for the game to end. But for this game, for the pitching matchup in this one, you have Parker taking on Quantrill. Quantrill off a good start, shut down the Braves. And you saw Parker pitch well twice as ERA is below 1. For the money line, though, Nationals are -125. The Marlins are +105. The over-under in this game is set at 8. For this one, I'll go with Parker. Just simply put, I trust him more than Quantrill. Quantrill was good in the last start against the Braves. He was also awful in his only home start against the Mets. He gave up the grand slam to Alonso. It was ugly. The Nationals, though, if you talk about people seeing the ball well, this team's seeing the ball well. They did well against the Dodgers pitching staff. Wood's been great. I know that Abrams had the home run to lead off the game yesterday. I think the whole lineup looks pretty good right now, and we know Miami, despite beating the Mets yesterday, the game was close. Then Diaz came in, and he was a gas can, but it was close because the Marlins still can't hit. So I'll go with the Nationals. I just trust their lineup more. Give me the Nationals to get the job done.
Yeah, minus 122. I'm on the same side as you. And we talk about bullpens. I mean, this fucking Brewers bullpen just blew it. They tied it in the 8th, and then they blew it in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, is it officially done? Because I see it's first and second, no outs. Did they give up?
He just hit a double, so it's 3-2.
Okay.
Guy on second, third. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take him in the first 5 though, just because. Talking about bullpens, Nationals bullpen is not good either, and that's what I really worry about. Miami kind of middle of the pack towards their bullpen, but don't trust Cal Quantrill. They showed the Nationals could hit. I mean, in that last series, like you mentioned, in that against the Dodgers, they sold the ball well. So I trust they'll be able to get to Cal Quantrill. He is not good. I hope Team Canada does in the World Baseball Classic. I don't know if you saw the pools that were just released, but hope he doesn't pitch for Team Canada because that we will be fading him. But yeah, I'm gonna fade him here in this spot. I know that they're home. I just think Nationals are the better team right now, and they're seeing the ball better. So yeah, I like that minus 122.
Yeah, one thing I am going to point out from a prop perspective is that if you are looking to look for stolen bases on the card, Quantrill's been better at preventing stolen bases recently, but he's still not very good at it. So there is a chance that Abrams or somebody runs, maybe Cruz. So keep that in mind. You could get some stolen bases in that game as well. Moving on to the next game, and look at the Red Sox against the White Sox. Who's pitching? Doesn't matter. No, just kidding. You got Newcomb pitching for the Red Sox. You have Martin pitching for the White Sox. Red Sox are minus 165. You have the White Sox at plus 140. The over-under in this game is set at around... I see 8 or 8.5. So you find a split line there, pick whichever one you want. Newcomb, though, we know is not very good so far this season. Martin, though, has not been good either. And the White Sox have been the worst team in the league. Them or Colorado, take your pick. But I'll go with the Red Sox. I know Newcomb's not any good, but I think I might be already adding the White Sox to the ban list for me. I cannot think of a single scenario where I'd want to take the White Sox. This team is awful. They might be worse than last year. And when I put that, once again, on the record, I'm not taking you to win a game against Boston. Give me Boston to get the job done. Maybe the run line. Maybe if you want to go for a team total and you avoid Newcomb, that's an option too. I don't like Newcomb. I don't think he's that good. But the Red Sox are much better. And the White Sox, I think, are the worst team in the league by a mile.
Yeah, so. I don't even think it's close. So I agree. Minus 148. Yeah, I like that. I think it's a little chalky, but I do think this is a good series in general for the Red Sox to get back into the win column after getting swept. And you mentioned it. I mean, I don't really.
Well, they didn't get swept because they're still playing right now, but it's not been good with them.
Hasn't been good, yeah. White Sox, they suck. They lost again today to the Guardians. They can't score. The pitching's bad. I just don't see how they win this game. I mean, Sean Newcomb, he had a nice bounce back start versus the Cardinals in his last outing, and White Sox, they're hitting 200 against lefties. Davis Martin, not someone you really want to back either. He looked terrible against the Tigers. Red Sox top 10 offense, minus 148. I know it's a little pricey to some people, but I think that's a steal in my opinion. My numbers made the Red Sox a minus 185 favorite. So yeah, I'm on the Red Sox.
I mean, the way that I look at it is if they were playing this game when the White Sox already had 90-plus losses by the end of the season, or if you're looking at them maybe in August and they're already like 20, 30 games under, the Red Sox are laying north of $2.
It's like a $2.25 price.
So if the White Sox already have a AAA lineup out there, and we're still in the first month of the season, I don't know why I would not accept a better price now at this point in the season than later in the season, because I'd definitely be taking the Red Sox later in the season. So
100%.
I watched, once again, you had a bunch of just awful players at the bottom of the lineup for this team. They can't hit. And I think Boston at least has enough firepower to get the job done. If they score 4 runs in this game, the Red Sox, 1, you like their chances of winning. 2, they got a chance to cover the run line, scoring 4 runs, because that's how bad the White Sox are. So I'll go with the Red Sox here to get the job done. Newcomb maybe walks some guys. If you want to go for walks prop, you can do that. But damn, the White Sox are really bad. Moving on, though, to the Angels against the Astros. The Angels have been good so far this season. Won again on Thursday. They're 8-4, and the Astros are 5-7. For the actual pitching matchup, you have Coach Anowitz going up against Blanco. The Astros are minus 155. The Angels are plus 130. For the over-under in this game, I see 9 or 8.5. Blanco, though, has been really, really bad, and the Angels have been really, really good offensively. I like the Angels team total over in this game. they've been hitting the ball very well so far this season, and Trout's actually healthy, but Adele's been good. They have Paris, who's been a monster so far this season. But the Angels, by comparison here, or just by actual trend here, they have scored at least 4 runs in 9 straight games. In 9 straight games. 4+ runs in 9 straight. They've been fantastic. So I'll go with the Angels at plus money. The Astros have been really bad offensively at home this season, and Blanco's been a mess. So I don't mind the over, but I'll go with the Angels team total and the Angels money line.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the Angels money line plus 158. My numbers only made the Astros a minus 135 favorite here at Blanco. Angels won again today. They cashed as an underdog. Me and Mal hit that. You got to take him again. I don't know about you, Scott, but I haven't liked what I've seen from Blanco in his first 2 starts. 3+ runs given up in both starts. 3+ walks as well in both starts. He couldn't even make it past the second inning in his last start. Not to mention, the offense is terrible for the Houston Astros. They're hitting 178 at home, just 211 off of righties. I personally think this game is mispriced. We got to keep backing the Angels until the Astros prove us that they could turn things around, and that's just not right now. So Angels plus 158.
You also throwing out the actual batter stats against Blanco. Blanco's faced 33 batters on the Angels roster, 345 batting average, 424 on base.
Yep.
So they have destroyed them in the past. Give me the Angels at plus money in this one. Shout out to the Angels, though, and Rod Washington. Doing a pretty good job over there. So something to keep in mind. Moving on to the next game. You have the Tigers against the Twins. For this matchup, should be an interesting one because both teams can't really hit, but I'll put it this way, though. The Tigers look pretty good against the Yankees over that series. Diggler looked pretty good, but in general. You're looking at Olsen against undecided. We have lines, though, with no listed pitcher. Once again, you have Olsen and the Tigers being favored at minus 115. Twins are at 4-9. At some point, Baldello is going to get fired, but I don't know who's pitching for them in this game. For the over-under, I see the line being set at around 7.5. It's a really tough game to call because I like the over, because Olsen, I don't think is that great, and I don't know who's pitching for Minnesota, but I don't really like either offense. So I'm pretty, I'd say, stuck in this matchup. I'll go with the over, ? Because I don't really... Oh, look, I'll put it this way. If you have an undecided pitcher listed and you're about 15 games into the season, that's a red flag. That means you're not calling up anybody good to pitch in this game. I'll go with the over at 7.5. I'll go with the Tigers. As Trevor eloquently put it, the Twins are ass. You're not wrong. They're really bad. So if it's Paddock, then I'm definitely taking the Tigers because Paddock's terrible. I'll give me the Tigers anyway, but I'll go with the over. 7.5 feels too short.
Yeah, it is Chris Paddock. I'm going to go the over 7.5 at minus 120. My total came out to 8.5. It's mostly fading Chris Paddock, how bad he's been for the Twins.
He got torched by the White Sox.
And they're the worst team by a mile. So, and Tigers honestly are swinging the bat pretty well. 265 on the road. They're hitting 291 off of righties. I love the Tigers on the money line. I love the over. I would even look towards a Tigers team total over. They had Thursday off. They're going to be well rested, and I expect them to tee off of Paddock. And on the other side, Reese Olsen, he hasn't been anything to write home about either. He'll give up 2-3 runs himself. So should be a nice night in Minnesota. I think the ball will be flying. So yeah, I'm on the over, and I like the Tigers here as well.
By the way, I meant to say Dingler. I accidentally merged Diggler from Boogie Nights with the catcher for the Tigers, so apologies there. I meant Dingler, but he's been solid so far this season. By the way, for updates, the Brewers bullpen officially imploded, and the Rockies now lead 6-2. Moving on, though, to the next game, you have the Phillies taking on the Cardinals. You have Nola, who's been really bad this season, to the surprise of many, against Palante. Cardinals, though, have been an absolute mess. You're looking at the Phillies, who are minus 145 favorites. Cardinals are plus 120, and the over-under in this one is set at 7.5. Nola, 6.35 ERA, but the Cardinals have been brutal. They have lost, to go through the actual numbers here, they have lost 5 of their last 6. They started the season 3-0, and now they're 5-7. So you can do the math there. Palante's been fine. I'll take Nola and the Phillies. The Cardinals forgot how to win. That's really all I have to say. Like, this team's not any good. I was hoping for a long shot option in the NL Central. I recognize this team's not any good. The Phillies are solid, so even if Nola does not pitch well, they can find ways to manufacture wins. The Cardinals really can't. So I'll go with the Phillies to get the job done in this one. Maybe a run line if you do think they get to Palante, but I think if the price is too short for a much better team, give me the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm going to take the other side and give me the home puppy. I only made the Phillies a minus 120 favor. Aaron Nola definitely doesn't deserve this big of a favorite on the road nonetheless. And Andre Palat, I think he's looked much better, especially at home. And with the way the Cardinals are swinging the bat right now, it's hard not to pass on them at this price at home. Coming back home, I think it's going to help figure some things out for this team. They're hitting 291 or 298, excuse me, at home, 286 off of righties. I just think this is another bad spot for Nola. Bullpen is the worry, though, for me with the Cardinals. So if you want to take them in the first 5, I don't mind that either. But I'm going to take the home dog here, plus 125.
Yep, definitely true. I see Trevor mentioned the Cardinals are a dead over team.
Yeah.
They weren't yesterday in like the 12th or 13th inning when it was 1-1, but for the most part, they've been an over team. I think I just am expecting Nola to pitch well to some degree, at least well enough to get the job done. So once again, I'll go with Philly, but I understand your reservations about that. Moving on to the next game, you have the Rockies, who, I mean, knowing their bullpen, it's not officially a win yet, but they should beat the Brewers today. You're looking at the Padres, though, who, of course, have been solid so far this season. For the actual pitching matchup in this one, you have the Padres being favored at 215. You have the Rockies at plus 180. You have Pivetta taking on Marquez. For the over-under in this matchup, I see 7.5. Pivetta had a great first start, was not that great the second start, and Marquez has been solid so far. But the Rockies, we know, are awful. They are about to be 3-9. They are 1-5 on the road, and the Padres are a perfect 7-0 so far in Petco this season. It's either Padres run line, you make a case for the Rockies. So, Dylan, what's it going to be?
Yeah, for this game, I'm going to take the under here, 7.5. My total came out to 7.1. I think we talked about this last week. Not the biggest Nick Pivetta fan, but he hasn't been terrible. And at home, he did go 7 scoreless innings versus a Braves team and only gave up 1 hit. I think he's going to be able to shut down the Rockies. They scored 7 runs here so far. Game's not over. So maybe some regression coming. And this is a Rockies team who we really want to fade away from Coors. They're hitting just 200 away from home, 1-5 on the road, but 5-1 towards the under away from Coors. So I just worry about the bullpen ruining everything. So maybe look towards the Rockies team total under. I like that too, but let's just cross our fingers. I'm going to take under 7.5.
Yeah, I think for this one, I'm going to take the under as well. Maybe first 5 under because I'm not taking the Rockies bullpen at all. But I do want to point out that Tatis did get injured again yesterday with a shoulder issue. So we'll see how long he's out for. We know Tatis is, I'll use the term constantly on the IL. Is that a fair statement?
100%.
So either way, point is with him being out of the lineup, we know that that's definitely a hole that you need in the heart of that order. So assuming that he's going to be out for a little while, I do want to take the under anyway. But I'll go first 5 because I don't want to trust the Rockies bullpen whatsoever. Moving on to the next game, you have the Brewers taking on the Diamondbacks. And for this game, you have undecided against Erod. I don't have any lines, I believe. I see the total at 8.5, actually. So I actually do see some lines posted. And I see the Diamondbacks being minus 138. Brewers are plus 118. I don't know who's pitching for this game for the Brewers, but I know that Erod is awful. Give me the over. And maybe a case for Milwaukee, but I prefer the over. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over here as well, minus 122. I think it's either going to be Elvin, who we want to fade, or Jose Quintana.
Well, I got bad news for you because Elvin's pitching right now.
All right, yeah, so it's going to be Jose Quintana then for the Brewers. Regardless, I like the over. He's going to – Eduardo Rodriguez, is it fair to say he's below average at best?
I mean, every time he starts, I assume he gives up 3 runs minimum. So.
That's what my notes say. He's going to give up 3 to 4 runs every game. He walks a few batters. He's going to give up a home run. And Brewers, they're hitting 269 on the road. They just put up 17 runs the other night. They're averaging 8.4 runs the last 5 games outside of this game right now that we're watching. But no matter who's going for the Brewers, it doesn't matter. I think the Snakes, they're going to be able to muster a few runs for themselves as well. So 8.5 is just too low. So it's a little chalky at minus 122, but I do like the over as well.
Yeah, I see Wags mentioning Erod versus Erod. It's not. Elvin was rumored to start tomorrow. He's pitching right now. So I'm assuming Quintana might get the start tomorrow. But Erod, the Brewers one, is actually pitching right now. And I believe he gave up a run already to the Rockies. So he will not be pitching in this one. Do want to point out, though, since we're talking about bad pitcher contracts, Erod for the Diamondbacks is in the second year of an $80 million contract for 4 years. So you went from
Wow.
Bumgarner to Erod. So there you go. $80 million for 4 years. And his ERA with the Diamondbacks is north of 5.
Can't
So
make this
not
shit
what
up.
you want to see. So either way. Moving on to the next game, you have the Rangers taking on the Mariners for this matchup. I know a lot of people want to blindly take the under, but at least hear me out. You have DeGrom taking on Miller. For the money line, you have the Rangers at minus 130, the Mariners at plus 110. For the over-under, I see 6.5 or 7. I like the under in this game. I think DeGrom will pitch fine. Miller is great at home pretty much every year. And I think that both offenses are not been that great. Texas has been kind of weird this season because the record's very good. They're 9-4. The offense has not been that great. And we know Seattle can never hit. So I'll go with the under. Give me DeGrom, maybe 5 scoreless, and they'll pull him. But I'll go with the under in this game. At the end of the day, it's the Mariners at home. You blindly want to take the under. You're looking for a reason not to take the under. I can't find one. So I'll go with the under in this game.
Yeah, I don't mind the under, but I'm going to be on the Rangers here, minus 122. My numbers made the Groma minus 140 favorite. I get the Mariners are home, but Bryce Miller should not be attracting this kind of respect over DeGrom, in my opinion. Miller has not looked good. His walks are up. He's given 3+ runs up in both of his starts. You know, he's a fade for me. He's a fade for me right now until he puts together a few solid starts. I know what I'm getting out of DeGrom. I think he bounces back against a poor hitting team. 2 actually poor hitting teams. It's weird. Like you mentioned, Rangers, good record, but not really the best offensively. But they have managed to score 6 runs in 3 of their last 5 games. So I think they'll be able to muster up enough runs to get the win. But I do like the under, maybe a 4-1, 4-2 type of game. But yeah, I'm going to take the Rangers here straight up.
Yeah, the one thing I can say about Miller so far this season, to sum it all up, is he's pitching like his brother, which is not what you want to see. So just something to keep in mind. But either way, he's better at home typically, and both offenses have not been that good. I'll go with the under. Moving on to your favorite team. You have the Mets taking on the A's. For this game, you do have Canning pitching against Sears. Mets are minus 135. A's are plus 115. For the over-under in this game, I see the total being set at 9.5, actually. Seen a lot of high-scoring games for the A's so far in Sacramento. Yesterday was not one of those games, but for the most part, they have been high-scoring. I'll ask you because Canning's quietly been pretty good for the Mets this season. Sears has been fine for the A's. I got the Mets personally. I think the A's are bad. And the Mets, yes, they no-showed that game. Meyer might be really good for Miami, though. Guy can pitch. Besides that, they were very good in that Marlins series. Give me the Mets at minus 135.
Yeah, I'm going to take the A's here, plus 110, home puppy. My numbers actually made him a favorite. I think JP Sears has looked pretty good here past couple games. Yeah, it's against the Mariners and the Rockies. And quietly, Griffin Canning has been good too, but he doesn't go long. And yeah, he might not have to because of how good the bullpen has looked. But it worries me. The offense is not, but outside of Pete Alonso, the offense really worries me right now for the Mets. So in athletics in Sacramento, overs have cash. So I don't know. I think the numbers maybe a little too high though for the total. So maybe look towards the Mets team total, but I'm going to take the A's here, man. I just can't back the Mets right now.
I think it's me just looking at the talent on both teams.
Yeah.
And I do think the A's bullpen could be problematic. Mets bullpen's been fine. Diaz was awful yesterday.
Awful.
But besides that, they've been fine. So I do think the Mets might have an edge if the game's close late in that matchup. Moving on to the last game of the slate, you have a rematch of the Tokyo series. You have the Cubs taking on the Dodgers. For this one, you have Yamamoto pitching against Boyd. Dodgers minus 190. The Cubs are plus 160. Cubs, though, bounce back after losing both games in Tokyo as they're 9-6. Dodgers are 10-4. They are 6-0 at home this season. And Boyd has been battling, but he's not given up a run yet, so he has been pretty solid. Yamamoto's been good too, 1-1, 1.69 ERA. Total in this game is set at 8. I feel like it's tough to avoid the Dodgers at home minus 1.5, but I'll hear you out. Both offenses have been fine so far this season, but I think I am going to go with a common theme. I might go with the first 5 under, maybe Dodgers first 5 minus half a run. Boyd has been pitching, once again, well, if you look at the, I'd say, basic stats, but he has let guys get on base. He gave up 5 hits and a walk to the Padres in 6 innings, which is fine. Gave up 4 hits and 3 walks in 5 innings against Arizona. He has been letting guys get on base, and you really can't afford to do that against this Dodgers team. Then again, the Cubs have seen Yamamoto before, which is going to help because I saw him earlier this season. But I'll go with the Dodgers first 5 minus half a run.
Yeah, I like that as well. I'm going to take a shot here on the run line for the Dodgers, plus 114. After a rough start to the year, I thought Yamamoto's looked better. He just went 6 scoreless innings against, a pretty good Phillies lineup. And I honestly didn't think he pitched that bad in opening day in Tokyo versus Cubs team. Matthew Boyd has looked fantastic, though. He's not someone you really want to fade either right now. I like
He's
the
been
under.
fine, but I'm pointing out, though, that there have been guys on base constantly, which is a problem
Yeah,
when you run
yeah.
into the Dodgers.
That's fair. And you can't do that against the Dodgers. And to be honest, I can't fade the Dodgers at home. 6-0 straight up, 4-2 ATS. The offense just find ways to win. And the Cubs bullpen has been shaky, if I'm being honest. Bottom 5 in the league. I can't trust them right now. So I'm going to take the Dodgers on the run line here, minus 114 for like a pizza bet.
Yep. Moving on, though, before we get into the actual lock and dog plays for the show, quick reminder that we are brought to you by Untitled Fantasy because you can play their pick'em for a chance of 100 times your money. You can also sign up with your new account with the promo code MLB SGPN to claim a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 bonus credits. Untitled Fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm because they are the home of AI back picks and props. They're also live now for Major League Baseball. They have models on NBA and golf too. If you want to get your golf fix in for the Masters, you can also build your own model, which is simple and easy to do. There are 2 promo codes, though, that you can use depending on what deal you actually want to capitalize on. Rhythm has a deal for a monthly subscription, 25% off the monthly subscription when you use the promo code SGPN25, or you get the annual subscription, 50% off with the promo code SGPN50. That's RETHMM, promo code SGPN25, or SGPN50. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Went through every game on the Friday card. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Dylan, I'll let you go first. What are your lock and dog plays for the Friday card?
Yeah, so for my dog, I think we just have to continue to back the Angels until they prove otherwise. This offense has been rolling. Blanco, you mentioned the numbers against this lineup. I think it was over 300, 350 or something.
Yeah, give or take.
Insane.
I think it was
Yeah.
344.
Regardless, it's awful. You can't back Blanco here at home. Give me the Angels plus 158. I think that's insane price. And for my lock, how bad was it? I was going to take the Yankees here as my lock, but I can't do it with Stroman. I don't want to have to give you a heart attack either. I'm going to take the.
You
I'm going to
can
take
if you
the,
want to. It's your money.
No,
You can do whatever you want.
no. I'm not. I'm going to take the Grom here, minus 122. Very short price. I know what I'm going to get out of him. He's going to go, like you said, 5 scoreless innings, and I just don't trust this Mariner team at home to produce any runs. And Rangers, like I said, 6 runs in the last 3 of their 5 games. I think they'll be able to get enough to win this game. So minus 122, I'll take the Rangers as my lock.
All right. So for my lock, I'm trying to think if I want to go for a total or if I want to go for a side on this one. I think I am going to go with I'll go with the first 5 play, actually. I'll go with the Reds, first 5 minus half a run against the Pirates. I think Falter's atrocious, and I think Singer's pretty good. So I do think the Reds offense, which has been underwhelming so far this season, I do think they're better than Pittsburgh's lineup, and I do think Singer has been pitching well enough to get a pretty decent price here for the first 5. They're minus 160 on the money line, so first 5 minus half a run. Might be like minus 120, maybe, which I think should be reasonable. Once again, apologies, the line's not out yet, but that is where I'm going to go for my lock. For my dog, I did agree with you about the Angels, but I don't want to double dog the play here because that's going to rob everyone else of another play. So I am going to go with the Royals instead. I think Bybee has been underwhelming so far this season. Yes, the Guardians are undefeated at home this season, but they did face off against a really bad White Sox team, which I think padded their numbers a bit. So the Royals, we saw them win the last game against the Twins. Bubic, though, has been great. 0.71 ERA. I'll back the great pitcher by comparison to Bybee stats-wise at plus 25 as my dog. That's going to wrap it up, though, for the episode. Anything else you want to add, Dylan, before we end the show?
No, Brewers bullpen fucking sucks.
I mean, to be fair, they also only scored 2 runs against the Rockies, but yes.
Hopefully the Blue Jays. What's that score? Do you know off the top of your head?
The Blue Jays right now are down 1-0 in the entering the 7th inning.
Hopefully the Braves win money line tonight.
Yep, we'll see what happens. But anyway, do want to point out that once again, we'll be back once again tomorrow twice. We do have the prop show on Friday morning with Adam and I, and then we have the show later on in the day for the Saturday games, which I believe are going to be hosted by Lonte and myself. I think. I have it written down. Either way, though, once again, check us out on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Find him on Twitter at Rock with 2Ks24. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.